Okay, changing the subject of a formula, and I'm going to just go through some examples of that. Before we start, you need any color highlighter. Okay, so that we're going to read the question and we're going to highlight it at the same time. So, example 1, make F the subject. So that's what we have to do. Make the F the subject of the formula. Yep, that's important. And then, hence, find F. So you've got to do two things here. First will be what? Make the F the subject. So that's the first thing I have to do. And then I have to find F using these C values for part A and part B. Okay, well, let's do that. So I've got the formula here. C equals 5 over 9. F minus 32. Okay, now I want, when it says to make something the subject, I want it to be on the left hand side, so to be F equals something. So my goal is F equals something something. Okay, so I want this to be swapped because I wanted this F to be on my left hand side. So I'm going to swap this. Okay, nothing special, I just swapped. And then I have to get rid of 5 over 9, okay, because I wanted F to be by itself, and I've got something that it's not, I don't want, which is 5 over 9. Now anything to do with this, something like this, you need to times by reciprocal, like a flipped, okay. So if it's times by its flipped version of this, it'll always making 1. So for example, if I had A over B and I times by flipped of that, it would be B over A, wouldn't it? If I do that, I'll cancel out, make it 1. So that's what we want. So I'm going to do times by 9 over 5 on both sides. Now remember, you've got to do both sides because it's equal there. It has to be balanced. So whatever you do on the left hand side, you've got to do on the right hand side as well to keep that balance. Okay, so I'm going to do 5 over 9 times 9 over 5. On my left hand side, I'm going to do exactly the same thing on my right hand side here. So this is the times there. And when I do that, I'll cancel out, it becomes 1. So that becomes cancel, cancel, cancel. So what is it? Becomes F minus 32 equals 9 over 5 C. I'll just put the number in the front. Okay, so that's not too bad. So when I do that, I've got, and then what else do I do? I have to get rid of minus 32 by do opposite operation, which is like that to both sides. So when I do that, so what I've got, F on my left hand side, I've got 9 over 5 C plus 32. There you go, that's my formula to make the F the subject. And then I've got to do now A and B. Okay, so I need to find the F when C equals 40. So F, I don't know, 9 over 5. What's the C? C is 40, isn't it? So I'm going to put 40 there and plus 32, and you put all that in your calculator, you will get 104. Okay, just put that exactly the way it is in your calculator. That'll do. So F equals, we don't know, but when C equals 100, that was a part B there. So F equals, oops, 9 over 5, C was what? 100 plus 32, and put that in your calculator, I will get 212. Okay, that's good. So let's do the next question. Next question, and that'll help you if you can see it. Yes. So example 2, make P the subject. Okay, here we go. Make the P the subject of the formula Yep, that's my formula. Then find the value of P. Again, you got to do two things here, but there's information. Correct to two significant figures. Now, this is the important part. Two significant figures. I'm going to use different color right there. Okay, and then when M is what? 9.8, H is 0.47. All right, so first thing I have to do is make the P the subject, okay? And then we have to find the value of P using these two. And then third part is write that answer into two significant figures. All right, well, let's do the first part. So I've got M equals 10 over pi HP. And I want the P to be on my left-hand side because I want P equals something, something. So I'm going to swap this. So it'll be 10 over pi HP equals M. Now, I want this to be non-fraction and I want the P to be by itself on this side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this, okay? And I'm going to flip this. This M is really M over 1. So I'm going to flip this and I'm going to flip this. Then it's okay because I've flipped both sides. So when I flip this, I'll get pi HP over 10 and it'll be 1 over M. Okay, so it's not too bad. Now I'm going to do times by 10 on both sides because I don't want this 10 on the bottom. So when I times by 10 on here, I can cancel this 10. Yeah, so I'm left with a pi HP equals 10 over M. And then what do? I want the P by itself, so I'm going to do divided by pi H. So if I do that, divided by pi, what do I get? I will get P equals, now this means just 10 over pi H M. That's what it means. Okay, so I've got that changing the subject part. Now I need to find P when, okay, I'm going to do it here, find P when M equals 9.8, H equals 0.27. So I'm going to use this formula to find it. P equals 10 over, pi is not a pronumeral, it's just pi. And then what is it? H will be 0.27. And then what else we got? M is a 9.8. And I'll put that there. And put it all in your calculator, just in case if you didn't know what to do with the calculator. I'm just going to show you. So fraction 10 exactly. So make sure you put the shift pi there. Can you see that? Shift pi, and you will get the pi there. Hopefully you can see it. And then bring it down. Yes, that's better. And then I'm going to press bracket 0.27. Was another bracket 9.8 and equals. So you've got 1.2029852 ... Now it says two significant figures, right? So one significant figure, two significant figures, and the rest disappears. So your answer should be 1.2. Okay, done. Next question. Let's have a look. Okay, example 3. Helen, the plumber, charges according to the formula C equals 60 plus 32 brackets H minus 1, where C is the charge, the money, and H is the number of hours worked. Part A. How much does Helen charge for working 2.5 hours. Okay, so I'm going to press that. Okay, so let's have a look. I'm going to use red pen. So we're looking for charge, which is the C, isn't it? So the formula we were given was this. And H is 2.5. We can write it 2.5 if you want. So that's 60 plus 32, 2.5 minus 1. And you just put that in your calculator, okay? All that into your calculator, what you'll get is 108. Now your final answer should be $108 for what? 2.5 hours. Make sure you write the final answer with the dollar sign. Okay, so next part A. Part B, make the H the subject for the formula. Okay, so I've got C equals, I'm just going to rewrite the formula. And I'm going to make that H the subject. So I want it to be on the left-hand side. So I'm going to change this. I'm swapping around. Equals C. Okay? And I'm going to get rid of the 60. Remember, you've got to do exactly the same thing on the left-hand side to the right-hand side. So you've got left with C minus 60. And I'm going to divide by 32. Because my mission is to make H by itself. So I'll cancel this. I'm left with that and 32. Okay, so I'll go on here. And I want this to plus 1. If I do that, I will get left with H equals C minus 60 over 32 plus 1. There you go. That's my formula for H. And then what do? Find the number of hours. Number of hours, I'm looking for H here. When Helen worked, she charged $172. So that's a C equals 172. So I'll just use this formula. H equals C minus 60. C was 172 minus 60 over 32 plus 1. If you put that in your calculator, you will get 4.5 or 4.5 hours. Now it's good to write it in a form that it was original format. Original form was 2.5 in a fraction form, wasn't it? So I'm just gonna put 4.5 hours, but it doesn't really matter if you put 4.5 hours. Okay, so that's example 3. Let's have a look at the example 4. I think it's the last one. The average blood pressure, P, of a person aged Y years, measured in a milliliters of mercury, and is given by the formula P equals 110 plus Y over 2. So I'm just going to highlight that. Okay, so P is the mercury, Y is age. And what's the first thing we have to do? Make Y the subject. Okay, that's my first job I have to do. And then use that, find age. I have to find age, my second job, when P is 124 mercury. Okay, so that's what I've got to do. So first thing first, I'm going to change that. So I'm going to use the formula 110 plus Y over 2. Again, I want that Y to be in the front, so I'm going to swap this. And I'm going to take the 110 away, so that I'm left to the Y over 2, P minus 110. Okay, and then what I'm going to do, I'm going to do times by 2, and I'm going to put a bracket in the times by 2. So that way, you cancel that. Y equals 2P minus 110. Or you can do timesing it on both. So it'll be 2P minus 220. Doesn't really matter which way you do it. So I've got that Y formula. So my second job was to find Y when P equals 124. So Y equals 2 and P was what? 124. take away 10. If you do that in your calculator, you will get 28 years. So the formula, so answer for this will be that, or if you want, y equals 2p minus 220. Doesn't really matter which way you do it. And the second part answer is this. So you got 2 answers for 1 question. Well done.